This is Adrian Terry, and I'm joined today by Jerry Powers, a candidate for District 2 Edgewood Town Commission. Mr. Powers, please take a moment to introduce yourself to the community and tell us why you're running for re-election to the Town Commission.
Well, I'm Jerry Powers, and I joined the Core Citizens group to try to transform the town government into an open, honest, ethical system that kind of reflected the will of the people that live here. And that's been what I've been trying to do as a commissioner. I'm running unopposed at this point. People are asking me, why are you even campaigning? But I think it's important that people understand where you're coming from, what your goals are, and what they can expect from you, and how they can affect your performance. So by contacting me, I try to stay in touch with the community as much as possible. My cell number is actually on the town website.
Well, unlike some of the other candidates, you actually have a record to run on. What do you think are some of the highlights of your efforts on the Town Commission for the last 2 years?
Well, I tell people this has been the hardest job. This is the hardest I've ever worked. And, as a contractor, home builder, I built a lot of big apartment complex, which were a lot of work. But in government, it's different because of the strictures on government as to how you operate procurement. You can't talk to the other commissioners outside of meetings, this kind of thing. So, but I think the sewer plant was one of the bigger one. It was a train wreck when I got here. It had been out of compliance with environmental laws and the permit through the Environment Department for years. And with the help of some community members that were, thank God, involved in that and interested, we knew what the issues were going in to a large degree. But getting that running was a Herculean effort of a lot of people, and I participated in that a lot. I was out there in the middle of the night sometimes during some of these operations trying to keep it from having environmental spills even.
Well, I'm certain in your capacity as a town councilor, you've had to coordinate and communicate with various other elements of the government. Talk about some of the relationships that you've developed and people that you've been introduced to that might help you to advance the town's interest as you now move into another term of office.
Yeah, that's a great question. Edgewood had a somewhat adversarial relationship with Santa Fe County in the beginning. And I'm not sure why that was, but I've been able to work with one of the other commissioners, Phil Anaya, who had been serving on some of the boards in Santa Fe County. And we actually have done really great at establishing a relationship and rapport that is helping us. They're now considering donating the equestrian center to the Town of Edgewood, which Santa Fe County owns. They donated the police department building, which was the old fire station. They're helping us in so many ways in terms of our ability to get funds from the legislature, and our general relationship with them is really good. The emergency operating center, we're covered by Santa Fe counties. We pay taxes to them. It's far cheaper than it would have been for us to do it, and they've been highly effective at doing that.
And if I could, I'll direct the same question to you with respect to the Moriarty Edgewood School District.
Okay. Well, it's a tragedy in a way when people can't work together over something that's so obviously a benefit to the community. I didn't directly talk to the school board members, but I have talked to them at their meeting. Again, I can't go meet with commissioners outside of a meeting. So that was mostly left to Audrey Jaramillo and Phil Anaya, who had been on the school board. But boy, the reaction we got was so shocking to me that they did not want to work with us on saving that building. It's to replace that would be $10 to $14 million. It was paid for with taxpayer funds, and it just seems like such a waste. So I want to reestablish what we did with Santa Fe County. I think there will be some new board members coming in probably from this election. But even if there aren't, I would like to get involved and to definitely try to get intergovernmental cooperation to happen, because that's always best for the citizens who paid for these facilities.
And this facility is the old Edgewood Elementary School, which was closed a few years back. And how would you like to see that facility repurposed?
Well, the way it was operating was we had youth education services programs in there for the summer. We had the Junior Police Academy. We had city events, town events, Arts Alliance. We had candidate forums in there. And we could even have the voting. We get displaced every year out of the commission chambers, which is kind of a hardship. But that's a perfect space for so many big community events. We could also use it for continuing education. We could use it, there was a pre-K in there before they shut the building down. And pre-K is an important function, I think, for Edgewood. We don't really have what they have in Moriarty, which is a publicly funded pre-K for the school.
Well, ordinary citizens like me rely on people like you to manage the affairs of this local community. One of the things that I think is a very positive aspect of your candidacy is that we'll have continuity on the town commission. There are 2 commissioners who are incumbents staying in office, and we're going to elect 3 new commissioners for District 2, District 3, and District 5. Tell us about some of the most important issues or some of the most pressing concerns for the town immediately following the election as this new term starts in January of '24.
Well, I think the building that we just discussed is pressing, but also I was able to bring an item on the agenda to vote to earmark $1 million of town funds. We had a $3.5 million carryover last year from gross receipts taxes, and those are the public's funds, and they should be used for the priorities that the public has. So earmarking those funds, and the weather it's weather dependent, so we won't be able to get started till probably March or April. But I think we can do about 3 miles of roads next year with that $1 million, because it's 1/3 of the cost that it has been traditionally to hire contractors, and it's 10% of the time, because we're not dependent on DOT's timelines year to year.
Well, Mr. Powers, I would tell you this. In my observation, you have shown great competence on the town commission thus far. And whether people agree with your point of view, I feel like you have always done the best that you can to do a good job for this community. So with that said, I want to ask you 2 questions that are different than topics we typically address, but I think they're important for people to get to know you. It's my position that no one can stand alone, and we all rely on others from time to time when we fall. Tell us about who you rely on and where you get your strength from.
Well, I think the core citizens group, which grew and grew and grew over time because people really wanted this change, is a great source of strength and camaraderie for me. People that have common principles really inspire me, and that are willing to take a stand and do things that are not always comfortable, right? To stand up for principles and values. Very inspiring to me. The people that went before me that protected my rights, our rights to live in the greatest country in the world with the greatest opportunities and freedoms. I think about that, and this is my opportunity to pay some of that back.
Another question of a personal nature. I find that in my dealings with the world, I do very well, and I treat people the way I would like to be treated. The problem is the world only meets my representative, and my family knows the real me, and sometimes it's with those closest to us that we have some of the most challenges in our relationship. At your funeral, what would you hope that your family would say about you? What do you stand for?
I don't think about that very much because I'm so focused in the moment of trying to do the best that I can possibly do. I think whatever they say about me from their personal experience with me, I would hope that I was supportive with them, because I've always certainly tried to be, and did the best I could to help people when I could. I sometimes have gone too far. We all have to learn boundaries. There's a difference between helping others and giving them an opportunity, or enabling them to not be very proficient in their life. So that's been a huge lesson for me, and I would hope that they would, that's what they would say.
Jerry, thank you for what you've done for the town so far. Good luck in the election. I know you're running unopposed, so I anticipate seeing you at the dais in January. Thank you again for your service.
Thank you, Adrian.